what's up? My name is Dom. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I typically make bookish content, movie content, and anything else in between because I like to do whatever I want on this channel, and tonight is going to be bookish content. For today's video, we're going to go over all the books I read in the month of August. I completed a total of 6 books, 4 of which are manga volumes, and I started another one and have not finished it. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So the first book I read in the month of August is The Promised Neverland Volume 18 by Kaiju Shirai. I obviously cannot tell you what this specific volume is about without spoiling things, but I will tell you the overall story is about a group of kids who are all orphaned. They're living at Gracefield House with a woman named Isabella, who they refer to as Mom, and they think they're living some utopia until our main character Emma discovers something in the first chapter and realizes life is not what it seems. Now, at this point of the story and with this arc, things are starting to mesh together. So it's hard for me to give a review of this specific volume because I remember events, I just don't know like which volume it happens in. But if memory serves me correctly when it comes to the arc and the events that happen, I thought things in this volume moved a little too fast. There is a character that's forgiven quite fast. They forgive him really fast and then he agrees with their cause really fast, and I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I knew it was coming, I just wanted some more development, I think. And the arc in the last few volumes is my least favorite, so I thought the story, it's just okay at this point anyway, but I did give this 3.5 out of 5 stars. Then I read The Promised Neverland Volume 19. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, and admittedly it's because of like fan service. It's more so about feelings than critiques, because critique wise I have the same issues as I have with volume 18. However, one of my favorite characters comes back in this volume and I was just so excited, even though things are still moving a little too fast for my taste. And the end of this volume did have me worried that the overarching story, because there's 20 volumes and we're at the penultimate one, it did have me worried that the ending to the story was going to be a little too clean, I guess is what I'm looking for. But there was also still some fun action. So again, 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Princess in the Spotlight by Meg Cabot. This is the sequel to The Princess Diaries. I decided I am going to listen to all of these on audiobook while I'm at work just because they're fun. They're easy, it doesn't take too much thought, and they are hilarious. In this specific book, her mother is pregnant with her teacher's child and a secret admirer is sending Mia letters. This book was messy for no reason. I mean, she's 14, so you're gonna have a lot of high school drama, but it's just written in such a way where, no, I'm not nostalgic for it, but like, girl, I get it, and I think it's funny looking back at it. I figured out who the secret admirer was the moment that character was introduced, but it didn't ruin the fun for me at all because I actually had a lot of fun watching or listening to Mia put her foot in her mouth multiple times throughout the story. Girl, I do not wish being 14 years old. And another thing about these books is that her father is such a likable character that it's pretty sad to me that they killed him off in the movies. He has some faults, but what father doesn't? But like, overall, I have a lot of fun with him. His dynamic with Mia's mom, although they're not together, I do like their dynamic, and it's pretty funny as well, especially when drama comes in. And he still cares for the mom despite their differences. We love to see it. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read The Promised Neverland Volume 20, which is the last volume of this series that I have been reading since May. And I actually had a lot of mixed feelings about the ending to this story. First of all, this does have a trope that I do not like, and I cannot say what that trope is because it will be a huge spoiler. Typically, I don't like it. I think it's like a cheat for authors. I think it's a very easy way out when they don't know what to do with a character. However, the reason I have mixed emotions about it is because in this specific instance, there was something very poetic about it and I did cry. And another reason I have mixed feelings about this specific volume, about the ending to the story, is because although I don't love the ending, but I am content with it. I did kind of like what I was reading. I could see why people were underwhelmed. I could see why they don't like it. One of the reasons I do like it is because it brought some stakes into the game. I was worried it was going to be a very easy ending, and all things considered, it was not an easy ending. The character still had to struggle a bit, and it ends the way the beginning of the series said it would. There were just some certain setbacks that were very strange. Me personally, I didn't mind that setback because again, it made the ending uneasy. There was still some tension. Not everything was wrapped nicely in a bow, but because of what happened, I could see people not liking that specific thing. And then at the very end, the last few panels when it all comes together and we get the ending that the beginning said we were going to get, I thought it happened too fast. I think that's my thing with like manga endings that make me so worried, because I thought Tokyo Ghoul's ending was slightly too fast. Demon Slayer, that's another manga I've read where it moved very fast. I feel like when you spend so long on the same series, I could see authors burning out and just trying to get things over with. That's actually exactly what happened with Tokyo Ghoul. He was burnt out, but if he stopped, he was worried he wouldn't pick it up again. So the ending is extremely rushed. And I feel like that kind of happened here. I don't know if there was burnout per se, but if there was, I wouldn't be shocked. Just something about it was slightly unbelievable for me. But like I said, I'm very content with the way the story ended. Very rarely does an ending, I mean, I've come across endings I don't like, but very rarely has it ever ruined the entire story for me. I can only think of one example where that happened, and that was As I Lay Dying by, what's-his-face, William Faulkner. The only time the ending ruined a whole story for me. But otherwise, I'm actually, like, pretty good when if I don't like the ending of something, it does not ruin the journey. And I don't not like this ending. I don't dislike it. But even though I'm just content, the rest of the journey was still fun. No regrets reading the series. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. Then I'm back on my Chainsaw Man bullshit. We got Chainsaw Man Volume 17. And again, this is another one where I can't tell you the specific synopsis of this. But Chainsaw Man takes place in a universe where these devils feed on people, and the more fear there is of that specific thing, the bigger the devil is. For example, a lot of people in the world are terrified of guns. So the gun devil was huge, and he was the main villain for the first part of the story. Volume 17 is part 2 of Chainsaw Man, and like I felt with a lot of Chainsaw Man volumes, I thought this was just okay overall. I don't know if I'm liking part 2. I am of the very popular opinion that part 1 is better than part 2, but despite my questioning feelings, I don't hate it as much as a lot of people seem to either. I don't know what it is when it comes to Chainsaw Man, because I think a lot of the volumes are just okay. I haven't given a single volume 5 out of 5 stars. The highest I've ever given one I think was only 4 out of 5, which is not bad by any means. And I haven't gone lower than 3 out of 5, but the majority of the volumes for me are 3 out of 5 stars, and yet I can't stop reading it. I can't put it down, so it's still like capturing my attention. I just don't know why I seem to not like it. I seem to not love it as much as other people do. You know what I mean? But either way, in this specific volume, Nayuta, you're my girl. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. Then the last book I completed in the month of August is On Hitler's Mountain, Overcoming the Legacy of a Nazi Childhood by Irmgard A. Hunt. This is a World War II memoir, and Hunt grew up on the literal mountain where Hitler's headquarters were. Her goal was to explore her time as a German child during the war, her time in Hitler Youth, and when her opinions started changing. It's not one of the best memoirs I've ever read. If anything, I think this proves that I'm kind of burnt out from World War II memoirs. I'm okay with World War II fiction. For some reason, it's the memoirs where I'm like, okay, I'm ready for a new topic, you know what I mean? In this specific book, I was interested in what she had to say, but also disinterested at the same time. I still learned some things. That's my other thing with World War II memoirs. I've read so much and I feel like it's the same thing over and over again, but at the same time, it's not. It's very much not. And I'm still learning things. Like, I actually had no idea that the Nazi Christmas thing wasn't really like Christian Christmas. It was more so pagan winter solstice, and that the Nazis created their own religion apparently. Had no idea about any of that until I read this. And Hunt clearly went through a lot, and I do think her story is important to be told, because, you know, what happens to these young kids when something this dire, something this severe is all they know, and how can we help them grow out of that? But I think my other issue with this memoir is that I was expecting more of an exploration on how she changed her views, because she was very much a believer in the Nazi ideology until one day she wasn't. She would say what caused her doubts, but she never really dove into why these things made her doubt the Nazis, and that's what I was looking for when I read the synopsis of this book. So because I didn't get that, and because I am kind of burnt out from this topic, I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then for the book I started in August but did not complete, that is The Instructions by Adam Levine. This is my big book of the year. Every year I like to read a big book. For some reason this came in 2 separate volumes, so this is the first volume, the second volume's in another room. As you can see, I'm still trying to get through it because I am not liking this. So this is about a boy named Gurion Maccabee. He's a very troubled kid. He's been kicked out of 3 schools. He's in a correction program in his current school that's actually in Chicago, so I'm recognizing some of the things he's talking about. But he also believes himself to be a scholar of Judaism. He's not Jewish, he's an Israelite. That's a whole thing with his identity. And he also believes he may or may not be the next Messiah. So essentially the instructions is his holy book that he wrote. But I'm not liking this. I don't really like Gurion as a character. I know it's him being very full of himself and being very stuck up. It's part of the point of this, but it's just not compelling to read from. I don't want to give up because in this volume I only have this much left, so I want to at least finish this one. But then I think I need to pause it too, so during spooky season I'm definitely going to pause it and then pick it back up in November, I think. But that is it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill, and without further ado, I'm going to peace out and I'll see you guys later. Ciao, tutti.